Hi, everybody. My name is Mo. I'm here. I just want to talk to you a little bit about this book I've been reading. It's called The Autobiography of Frederick Douglass. It was a book that was written by him after he freed himself from slavery or later on in his life. I just want to talk to you about chapter 1 that I read. I've got some things written down here. I'm going to talk to you, tell you a little bit about what happened in the chapter. This is not everything that he talked about in the chapter, but just from the main things that I took from the chapter. First of all, he was born in a place called Tuckahoe. He says it was near a place called Hillsborough, and he was born in Maryland. He said his birth date, he didn't know. He never had a record of his birthday, or didn't know what month he was born in, or what year, or anything like that. He says that as far as he knew, he never knew a slave to know their birthday or month or anything like that. And even so, you weren't even allowed to ask a question about it when your birthday was. His mother's name was Harriet Bailey. According to him, she was a very dark-complected woman. His father, he doesn't know who his father was. There was rumor on the plantation where he was at that his father was a white man, and possibly the master who was on the plantation could have been his father. He was separated at a young age from his mother. I guess according to him, a lot of slaves, once mothers had babies, they were separated at birth from their mother, maybe even sold to another plantation. So he never really got to know their real mother. He says that he saw his mother maybe 4 to 5 times in his whole life, and it was always at night. I think she would, if I believe I'm correct, she would sneak off her plantation and come and see him at night, and she'd be gone back at her plantation by the next day. His mother died when he was 7 years old. He says that he got word of his mother dying from the other plantation, although he was not allowed to attend the funeral. The rule on the plantation was that a kid who was born, and he was born a mulatto baby, biracial. He was considered a slave. He or she was considered a slave, just like their mother. So even though their father may have been the slave master, they were still slaves because their mother was a slave. That was the rule. His first master on the plantation he grew up on was named Captain Anthony. There was an overseer on the plantation who was in charge of I guess if you were a construction worker or something like that, he'd be like a foreman. If you worked in a department store, he'd be like the manager, supervisor. His name was Plummer. According to Frederick Douglass, Plummer was a very violent man who kind of seemed to enjoy whipping slaves. He says that he would often awake as soon as the sun rose in the sky to hearing slaves screaming and getting whipped, often to the point where blood was running off of them onto the ground. On the plantation, I believe that he said he had a family member. Her name was Aunt Hester. He says that, according to Frederick, he says that Aunt Hester was one of the finest women he's ever seen, physically speaking. She was very, well-built, beautiful woman. According to Frederick, his slave master, Captain Anthony, was in love with his Aunt Hester, and often would help himself to her. And he says that Captain Anthony did not allow Aunt Hester. He very specifically told her that she was not to be around slave males that may begin to like her or want to marry her, or else she may die. I guess according to Frederick, one time she was caught in the presence of an African-American man, and the slave master was very upset about that, and he tied her to a chair and whipped her very bad, blood running down the floor. So that was just a little bit of chapter 1. It's a book called The Autobiography of Frederick Douglass, a book written by him. I have been reading this. This is the second or third time I'm reading it. Just want to give you a little bit about it. Once again, my name is Mo, and stay tuned for chapter 2 coming soon. Thank you.